Okay, good morning everyone. First of all, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for inviting me as your resource speaker for your today's activity. So, the topic given to me is effective academic practices for flexible learning setup. Okay, let's continue. At the end of this topic, you are expected to be familiar with some of the current academic challenges. Identify academic practices for flexible learning setup as students and future educators. And lastly, you are expected to create a personal plan to cope up with academic challenges as a student and as a future educator. Okay. So let's proceed. Tingnan natin kung ano ang konteksto natin dito sa Catanduanes ngayong panahon ng pandemya. Okay? So, habang ginagawa ko ang presentation na ito, tayo ay under Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine, which isa sa mga pulisiyang dapat sundin natin ay stay at home. Lalo na kaming mga guro, bawal kaming pumunta sa paaralan. Kaya, sarado ang eskwelahan. Pero, sabi ni Secretary Leonor Magtolis Briones ng Department of Education must continue. Kaya naman ang ating pamahalaan ay nagpapatupad ng iba't ibang paraan ng pag-aaral para kahit nasa quarantine season pa tayo, ay nagpapatuloy ang pag-aaral ng ating mga estudyante. Meron ng mga nagfe-face-to-face sa ibang bahagi ng Pilipinas. Meron din namang homeschool or home study. And meron din namang distance learning. Dito sa ating probinsya, sa Department of Education, ang pinatutupad namin ay itong printed modules na ipinapadala sa ating mga estudyante. Sa ibang dako ng Pilipinas naman, merong nagpapatupad na ng blended learning. Okay? So, meron pa tayong ibang mga pinagdaraan ng mga hamon. Okay? Ang Catanduanes ay tinaguriang EDSA ng mga malalakas na bagyo. Last year, tinamaan tayo ni Super Typhoon Rolly at hanggang ngayon ay ramdam na ramdam pa rin ang kanyang epekto, lalong-lalo na sa kagawaran ng edukasyon. Marami pang pasilidad ang hindi pa nakukumpuni hanggang sa ngayon. Ayan o, sira-sira pa yung mga buildings. Nandyan din ang paglaganap ng fake news. Habang tayo ay nagre-research, pag-click natin sa internet, may lumabas. So, hindi natin alam, fake news pala. So, kailangan pa natin ng malawak at malalim na pag-aaral para mapapatunayan natin kung totoo ba yun o hindi. Okay? Nandyan din itong ating hamon sa hirap ng internet signal sa ating isla. Marami sa mga lugar sa atin ang kailangan pang umakyat ng puno at umakyat sa mga matataas na bahagi sa mga bundok para magka-signal ng internet ang ating mga cellphone. Nandyan din ito mga makukulit na ibon, iba't ibang klaseng ibon na sanhi ng ating krisis sa supply ng kuryente. Ayan. Sunod kan aswang na ang masabit dyan. Okay? Nandyan din itong naging resulta ng distance learning, itong tinatawag na distance cheating. Dahil mahirap yung signal, okay? Walang pambili ng load, pupunta sa kaklase, mangungopya, distance cheating. Okay? At dahil nga sa hirap ng buhay ngayon, imbis na learn, understand, and comply, working student ako, kadalasan, comply na lang. Wala nang learn and understand. So, those are just few among the major academic challenges that the students and the teachers are facing today. Okay? So, sa kabila ng mga realidad na ating nararanasan ngayon, how shall we become dynamic students? How shall we guarantee quality and relevant education? Okay. Talakayin natin itong tinatawag na flexible learning. Okay? Sabi sa definisyon ng CHED Memorandum Order No. 2 Series of 2020, it is a pedagogical approach allowing flexibility of time, place, and audience, including but not solely focused on the use of technology. So, flexible learning majority, but not only technology. Okay? Kasi ang technology ngayon, ang internet, ang social media, ay parte na ng pagkatao natin. Okay? Ang iba, pag hindi nakapag-Facebook sa isang araw, ganoon ang magagadan. Ganoon, parang kulang ang kanyang araw. Pag hindi nakapag-check out, kapag hindi nakapag-add to cart, na mga ganyan. Although, yan, sa distance education ay kailangan ang facilities of technology, titingnan natin yung availability of devices, yung levels of technology, internet connectivity, levels of digital literacy, and yung kung paano natin gagamitin yung teknolohiya sa panahong ito. Okay? The design and delivery of programs, courses, and learning interventions address learners' unique needs in terms of place, pace, process, and products of learning. So yan. Kaya nga ang mag-aaral ay magkakaiba. Okay? Hindi yan pare-parehas. Ang iba niyang gusto sa tahimik na lugar, doon siya mag-aaral. Ang iba gusto sa maingay, malakas ang music. Ang gusto gabi, ang gusto araw. Minsan ang iba gusto mag-aral katabi ang jowa. Doon siya mas natututo. So, magkakaiba tayo ng learning style. Okay? So, kino-consider yun sa flexible learning, lalo't hindi available itong traditional modes of teaching sa panahon ng pandemya. Okay. So, dito sa flexible learning, collaboration between the learner and the teacher is very important. Kasi, you can be both. Pwede kang maging guro at pwede kang maging estudyante, or ikaw ang guro at ikaw din ang estudyante sa panahong ito. Okay? Flexible learning is convertible teaching and learning design that considers the students' needs for various access to course content and recognition of their diverse learning styles. Okay? So, talakayin natin ang guidelines ng CHED na pinalabas tungkol sa flexible learning. Okay? It is a learner-centered approach that is deeply rooted in the needs of the students. So, kayo ang bida, kayo ang focus dito sa tinatawag na flexible learning. Okay? The main objective should be to provide learners with the most flexibility of learning content, schedules, access, and innovative assessment, making use of digital and non-digital tools. So, sa college ngayon, di ba, nagpapadala sa inyo ng mga tasks through email. Ang iba, printed. So, flexible ang style. Pero, nakadepende kung ano ang kakayahan at availability, accessibility ng facilities na yon. Okay? Number 2, higher education institutions shall continue to exercise their judgment in the deployment of available flexible learning and other alternative modes of delivery in lieu of in-campus learning face-to-face or learning or face-to-face modality. The exercise of discretion by the HEIs of their faculty must be reasonable, transparent, and outcomes-based. Outcomes-based. Okay? So, yan. Dapat pinag-isipan, pinapaalam, at may resulta. May konkretong ebidensya ang pagkatuto. Okay, number 3. Higher education institutions shall formulate decisions using data-driven and participatory approaches on determining and implementing the most viable form of flexible learning and teaching that they will utilize based on their capability, existing condition, national government agency guidelines, and local government unit advisories. So, napaka-importante na tayo ay nangangalap ng impormasyon at nakikipagtulungan sa lahat ng stakeholders ng edukasyon, ng kagawaran ng edukasyon, ng higher education institutions para mas mapadali at maging mas productive ang tinatawag nating flexible learning. Dapat ang itong i-implement natin ay in accordance with the guidelines of the government para hindi tayo magkaroon ng conflict. Okay. So, importante na magkaroon ang HEIs ng tinatawag na Learning Continuity Plan. Okay? Na kung saan nakapaloob yung framework and system for the transition and integration of flexible learning approaches and overall absorptive capacity of HEI to articulate its preparedness and response interventions that reduces disruption of classes and impact of calamities, making continuity of learning more resilient. So, yan. Kailangan natin pagplanuhan at kailangan natin maging oriented sa sistemang ating ipinatutupad. Para kung anuman ang dumating na hamon, bagyo, o lumala pa itong pandemya, magiging resilient, matibay, at maipagpapatuloy pa rin ang pagkatuto ng ating mga mag-aaral. Okay. Flexible learning should implement or flexible learning should complement outcomes-based education approach, which allows flexibility of HEIs to employ various means of delivery and assessment as long as they can show the achievement of the set of learning outcomes for each course or subject. So, importante na yung ating natututunan ay merong konkretong ebidensya. Okay? Yung tinatawag na outcomes-based. Okay? In terms of learning content, HEI shall review all the curricular offerings and make the necessary adjustments or modifications in the curricular structures or program of study considering the prerequisites and co-requisites, determine alternative options in the design, delivery, pedagogy, and assessment mechanisms that can be delivered to the students through various modalities. So personally, ako ay naging writer din ng division office ng learning material sa Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person. Ang aking ginamit na references ay mga learning materials na nagawa din ng iba't ibang mga division offices. Okay? Sa modification na aking ginawa, I tried my best to incorporate the context of students here in Catanduanes para mas maging contextualize yung approach, yung design ng module, kung paano siya maihahatid, kung paano siya pag-aaralan ng mga estudyante. Okay? At syempre, yung assessment mechanism, madali nang magagawa ng mga bata kasi alam nila yung konteksto. Nakikita nila at nararanasan nila yung konteksto na nakasulat doon sa learning material. Okay? So, the implementation of its flexible learning strategy must be anchored in their institutional objectives, which is to produce graduates who are globally competitive, locally responsive, innovative, and technologically driven. Okay? Globally competitive. So, pag graduate ka, dapat ang goal ng edukasyon or ng curriculum na ipinatutupad ay ganito ang maging produkto. Okay? Pero allow me to add, parang because you are values education major, parang gusto kong idagdag dito sa graduates na napoproduce ngayon ay dapat ikaw ay may kakayahang magpahalaga or value-driven individual, hindi lang basta technologically driven. Okay? Parang nakakalimutan na itong ating pagpapayabong ng ating values. Okay? Huwag natin yun kakalimutan. Okay. The management of learners, higher education institutions shall provide mechanisms to inform and orient learners on the learning system to be implemented. So, dapat alam natin kung ano ang pinatutupad. Oriented tayo. So, pwedeng online or offline. Mag-conduct tayo ng Zoom meeting sa parents or magpadala tayo ng handbooks or guides, study guides, learning activities, or itong available repository of learning resources. Saan natin kukunin yung ating mga materials? Dapat alam natin yun. Schedule of lessons and consultations. Kailan tayo mag-e-exam? Papaano natin na monitor ang collaboration ng mga estudyante? Tumutulong ba ang group members? Okay? School mechanics and submission of requirements. Grading system. Dapat alam natin kung paano tayo minamarkahan. Feedback portals. Today, lalong hindi tayo allowed na magkaroon ng face-to-face. Feedbacking is very important. Okay? Kasi yun lang yung paraan para mag-guide yung mga estudyante kung ang kanilang ginagawa ay tama pa ba. Okay? Kung na-fulfill ba nila yung objectives doon sa kanilang learning materials. Okay. Kasali na yon dito sa tinatawag na student support system para na-assist ang students in managing their study time and maximizing their learning. Okay. The systems and procedures for the transition to flexible learning should be disseminated to all students. As I mentioned earlier, dapat alam natin kung ano ang ipinatutupad na paraan ng pagtuturo, including the school officials, teaching and non-teaching staff, which may be in the form of a policy document such as guidebook, manual, briefer, or may be incorporated in the students or institution's student handbook. Okay, dapat alam natin yon. Pati yung mechanisms for students to receive and access printed or digital course packages and instructional materials through courier, designated pick-up points, or through digital platforms. Kami dito sa San Andres Vocational School, we managed to tie up with local government unit sa munisipyo. Nag-provide sila sa amin ng sasakyan, panghatid at pang-pick up ng mga modules sa mga barangay. Nakipag-tie up kami sa mga barangay para sila ang kapartner namin sa pagdi-distribute at pagko-collect ng mga modules sa mga estudyante na kanilang nasasakupan. Okay. So, institutions shall establish means for students and teachers engagement. Okay. Dapat alam ng mga mag-aaral at ng mga estudyante kung paano makipag-communicate. Okay? Very important sa panahong ito ang communication. Whether may it be in SMS, email, chat, instant messaging, and other means para nag-guide tayo, nagkakaroon tayo ng kahit paano ay partnership. Okay? Pero dapat, take note, appropriate dapat. Okay? At saka available in order to ensure personal and effective, efficient, and timely mentoring and feedback mechanism. Okay? Mentoring and feedback. Importante siya. So, tingnan naman natin ano ang role ng mga estudyante ninyo ngayong panahon. Ayan. Students use appropriate technology to interact collaboratively with each other and with their teachers, with your teachers, and use feedback and consultation to develop and refine knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Okay? Take note of the word appropriate. Pag nag-chat sa imo si sir mo o kaya si ma'am mo, huwag kang kikiligin kung kinakamusta ka niya. Kasi, ang pakay niya ay magkaroon kayo ng academic consultation, academic conversation. Okay? Huwag kang assuming. Okay? Pag kinumusta ka, baad ang huna mo na crush ka ni sir. Baad ang huna mo, crush ka ni ma'am. Huwag assuming. Okay? So, yan. Importante na appropriate ang paggamit natin ng technology. Okay? And interact collaboratively with your group mates sa inyong mga kaklase. Kasi nga, yan, dapat tayo ay team player bilang mga estudyante. Okay? Walang walang hindi kaya kung tayo ay sama-sama. Okay? Lalo na, we should collaborate actively with our teacher. Pag igwa kang daina sasabutan sa imong lesson, magduwa-duwa, wag mahihiyang magtanong kung may right med ba nito. Okay? Yan. So, importante ito, feedback and consultation, para ma-refine, para maging puro, para ma-validate kung ano ang inyong nakukuha sa mga learning materials. Okay? At para ma-refine ang ating attitudes. Okay? Take note, attitudes. Values education major, yan. Tayo or kayo ang isa sa mga may gagampan ng mahalagang role pag kayo ay mga guro na para hubugin itong nakakalimutan na halos na aspeto ng ating buhay, ang pag-uugali. Okay? Dapat hindi maiiwan yun. Okay? Students are self-responsible. Sabi nga kanina, ikaw ay both guro and estudyante sa panahon na ito. Ikaw ang magtuturo sa iyong sarili. Okay? Ikaw ang magde-decide kung ano ang gusto mong matututunan. Or you decide to establish your goal. Okay? Ikaw ang magde-decide kung ano ang iyong i-research and develop their subject. Kung paano mo yun pagyayamanin. Okay? So, ikaw ang driver ng iyong sasakyan ngayong panahon ng distance learning. Pwede kang pumunta sa tuwid na daan or sa tuwad na daan. Okay? So, yung sikat na linya ng mga guro noon, mag-adal ka sa dai, masweldo kami. But then, although hindi ko naman sinasabing tama yon, but then relevant siya palagi. Lalong-lalo na sa part ng mga estudyante na yung diniscuss ko kanina na compliance over learning na lang ang nangyayari. Okay? Yan. Students research current data to answer questions and solve problems. Hindi porket may nabasa ka sa internet, paniniwalaan mo na kaagad. Okay? You are tasked to conduct in-depth study and research to validate the information na nababasa mo sa kung saan-saang social media platforms or even the internet. Okay? Kasi laganap ngayon ang fake news. Hindi porket nabasa mo doon na nakapagtapos at mabait siya, maniniwala ka na kaagad. Lalo na ngayon na papalapit ang panahon ng eleksyon, malaking responsibilidad sa atin ang mag-research. Huwag basta-basta naniniwala sa matatamis na pangako at salita ng mga politiko. Okay? So, mag-research tayo. Baka malaman natin doon na talagang totoong magnanakaw pala talaga siya. Okay? At sinungaling pa pala. Yan. Okay. Students learn to solve problems by assessment, data collection, and developing and implementing strategies using relevant information. As I have said a while ago, Okay. Data collection sa research, napaka-importante. Okay? Alam natin kung ano ang mga problema ng lipunan natin ngayon. Or aware na tayo sa kung ano ang nararanasan natin ngayon. Malaki ang ating ambag, malaki ang ating magagawa kung tayo ay magpa-participate sa pag-solve ng mga problemang ito. Hindi rason na, sir, estudyante pa sana kami, di pa kami dyan, di may pangayaan kaya. Okay? Hindi yun rason. Ang simpleng pag-aaral ng mabuti, ang simpleng pag-reject sa mga fake news, ang simpleng pagboto ng tama ay malaki ng ambag ng isang estudyanteng katulad mo sa pag-unlad ng bayan. Okay, so masusolusyonan natin yon kapag tayo ay marunong mag-research, mag-gather ng data, okay, at magkaroon ng tinatawag na strategies para nakakatulong tayo. Hindi tayo nakakatulong sa pagdagdag sa problema. Baad ikapaangga para palaganap ng fake news. Okay? Let's exercise the habit of researching. Okay? Students identify communication barriers, their causes and solutions. Okay? Maluya ang signal. Maghanap ka ni or hanapon mo kung ano ang kausa. Ngaya dumang kami sa may bukid Pano. Hindi magpunta ka duman sa may lugar na may signal. As simple as that. Hindi porket walang signal, doon ka na lang sa bahay nyo, magmumukmuk, hindi ka nagagawa ng iyong mga task. Okay? Gumawa ka ng paraan. Ganyan ang ginagawa ng pamahalaan ngayon. Gumagawa ng paraan. So, masusuklian natin yun kung tayong mga estudyante ay gumagawa din ng ating parte. Okay? Para masolusyonan kung ano ang mga barriers na ating nararanasan. Okay? So, yan. Dapat pinopromote natin itong lifelong learning. Maski suspendido ang klase, tadaing delivery ng modules or ng learning materials, di dapat kita gatunong na makamatid. Okay? Simpleng conversation ta sa harong, sa laog ning harong, pwede kitang makamatid. Simpleng paghiling kang kahoy sa tuyang palibot, makakamatid kita dyan. As long as we inquire, we ask questions. Unless otherwise, pag nagtunong na kita maghapot, tupong na ang satong bitiskaan. Wala na. Tsugi na, tsugi. Okay? Every moment in life is an opportunity for learning. Okay? So, after that, kung tayo ay natututo, alam din natin kung papaano yon gamitin. Hindi porket graduate ka na, may diploma ka, so what? Anong silbi ng iyong diploma, ng iyong medalya kung ikaw ay cum laude or summa cum laude kung ang iyong natututunan or natutunan ay hindi naman lumalabas sa iyong pagkatao. Okay? So, napaka-importante na nagagamit natin ang ating mga natutunan sa ating pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay. Okay? Praxis-oriented. The combination of knowledge and practice. Takong dai, sabi ni President Duterte, your diploma is just a piece of paper na pwede niyang isabod sa basurahan. Okay? Okay. I'd like to show you a video. Output siya ng mga estudyante ko last year, Humanities and Social Sciences students, ang mga first year college na sila ngayon dyan sa CSU o yung iba sa ibang eskwelahan. Year-long activity siya, first and second semester. So, output siya ng research, ng partnership with different groups and organizations. Hinubog dito sa activity na ito ang kanilang kakayahang halubilo, makipag-teamwork. Hinubog dito ang kanilang leadership, ang kanilang writing skills. Natuto silang humarap sa mga public officials. Okay? Yung kanilang kakayahan mag-research at mag-facilitate ng isang activity ay nahubog dito. And yan, meron na silang masasabing ambag sa lipunan kahit sa gitna ng pandemya. Okay? Panoorin natin.
Having observed the community and the kind of living of the residents in Barangay Cabcab, San Andres, Catanduanes, it appealed to our senses that there is a huge problem concerning waste management that truly affects children's health that leads to malnutrition. Over the past years, people have been in grave danger of a horrible condition, especially the children. They are suffering from malnutrition, which results starvation. Malnutrition has been an issue for many years in the community as a result of the community's overwhelming poverty rates. Last May 8, 2021, we, the Humanities and Social Science students of San Andres Vocational School, has initiated a program entitled Clean with Passion and Happy Tummy that involved partnership among different individuals, groups, and organizations. But before that, let's go to the planning for the implementation of the project. First, we gather data. We survey and observe the community and interview different individuals, groups, and organizations residing in it. After we gathered data, we studied in order to identify a particular problem here in our community. We created work plan with its content from title, rationale, objectives, strategies, time frame, resources needed, proposed budget, source of funds, at the expected outcome. After we did some revisions, we immediately finalized our work plan to have it approved by the advisor and school head to present it to Barangay Council and school head. After that, we sell frozen goods, fries, and drinks to raise fund for the project. After we finalized work plan, we disseminated the communication letters to the different groups, organizations, and individuals and sent solicitation letters to the possible donors to be able to generate funds and materials needed for the activity. On the 2nd of May 2021, on the regular session of the Barangay Council of Cabcab, we managed to attend in their session in order to present our work plan, together with our matrix of the activities, communication, and solicitation letters that distributed one by one from barangay officials. And as expected, they automatically approved our work plan. For the last minute of preparation, as a group, we started to become busy for the preparation of our implementation. Some are doing their assigned task, some are preparing flyers for information dissemination with the content of the importance of proper waste management and the effects of waste pollution to the community, and some are busy packing giveaways to be distributed. And finally, it's implementation day.
Our first project was entitled Clean with Passion. It aims to engage people to clean the environment and raise awareness about the effects of environmental pollution to the community activities.
The cleanup started 7:30 a.m. and ended 11 a.m. with the utmost participation of various individuals, groups, and organizations. We have also distributed flyers to raise awareness about the importance of the proper waste management and the effects of waste pollution to the community. Taking small steps and adjustments in your daily life will give you a sense of success and you need to attempt more.
The other project is called Happy Tummy. This project aims to provide health benefits to the most vulnerable children of the community. Through this project, we also want to bring entertainment to the children and to the parents. We serve as their stress debriefing because at a young age, many attempted suicide because of stress caused by motion.
The feeding program started at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Its objective is to reduce or prevent child undernutrition, educate children, and improve knowledge about healthy diet, lifestyle habit, and hand sanitation. Nothing compares in witnessing the successful result of our project to meet the children benefiting from the nutritious project with their healthy bodies and minds. After all, those children are always close to our hearts.
Salamat yun! Salamat, Saps!
So that output was a product of our role as teachers in the middle of this crisis. So magiging role nyo din to pagdating ng panahon na kayo ay mga guro na. Okay? So kayo ay dapat nagpa-practice ng active consultation with your colleagues and external agencies, including the parents of the students. Okay? Kasi hindi kaya ng guro kung siya lang mag-isa. Okay? Sabi ko nga kanina, kailangan natin ang teamwork. Okay? Planning, learning, and teaching to aid overcoming learning barriers. Okay? Importante ang pagpaplano. Bago tayo mag-i-implement ng isang activity para sa mga mag-aaral, ay uunahin natin ang magplano kasama ang ating mga co-teachers. Okay? Yeah. Identification and assessment of barriers or of barriers to learning. Okay? We need to establish communication and syempre, yung appropriate relationship sa ating mga estudyante para ma-identify at ma-assess natin kung ano ang mga hadlang sa kanilang pagkatuto. Sa part namin sa senior high school, nung nakaraang school year, marami sa aming mag-aaral ang naging working students kasi sila ay nagsisikap na makapag-ambag sa kanilang pamilyang pangangailangan ng kanilang pamilya. So, as teachers, we need to adjust. Kailangan naming magbigay ng mas maraming panahon para sa kanila. So, para ma-overcome nila yung barrier na yon. Okay? Partnership working specialist services. So, halimbawa, meron nang na-depress na estudyante dahil sa kahirapan. Ang task ng teacher ay humanap ng tamang tao. Sana all nakahanap ng tamang tao. Okay? Hahanapin niya kung sino yung nararapat na makatulong doon sa batang yon. Kasi pag depression na, at saka meron ng suicidal attempt, specialista na ang kailangan noon. Hindi na kaya ng guro yon. Okay? Then, amidst of this many challenges that the education sector is facing, marami ang mga bagong ipinatutupad. Marami ang mga bagong nangyayari sa edukasyon. Thus, continuing professional development is important. At pagkatapos mong ma-acquire yung mga skills doon sa kinuha mong online training and seminar, magandang isi-share natin yon sa ating mga kasamahan. Yan. Teachers play as a team player. Kailangan natin makipagtulungan. Okay? Kailangan nating maging innovator of change. Okay? Although hindi ibig sabihin na yung mga nakaugalian natin noon ay iiwanan natin or isasantabi na, payayabungin natin ngayon at dadagdagan para maging contextualize ang paraan ng pagtuturo sa panahon na ating kinahaharap. At teachers cultivate students' motivation. Dahil sa krisis na ating kinakaharap, marami ang mga estudyante natin or magiging estudyante nyo ang makararanas ng depresyon, kawalang pag-asa. Di na ngayon ako mapadagos, sir. Di na ngayon ako mapadagos, ma'am. So, as the pastor or the shepherd of your flock, you need to find the lost sheep. Okay? Hahanapon mo kung arin or sisay ang nawawara sa mga tupang pigabakarohan mo. Okay? Tanganing, maaaraman mo kung painano mo siya ma-motivate. So, before I end, I would like to show you a video para makita natin yung mga namimiss naming mga guro at namimiss nyo rin ngayong hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng face-to-face classes. Panoorin natin to.
I was told when I was a new teacher that a quiet classroom is a good classroom. The teacher does the talking and the students listen. A A lot of us were told this. Then we had a pandemic, and we feel this longing deep in our bones for the noise. The sound of an excited child, the laughing at jokes that you can't hear when they're muted on Zoom, kids gasping in wonder when an experiment works, the instant increase in volume in a hallway when the bell rings, class discussions, laughter, the lunchroom, walking by another classroom and hearing so much noise coming from the cracks in the door that you can't stop smiling because that teacher might have some engaged students. This year has been quieter, and maybe we thought we'd like the quiet. Maybe the noise drove us a little crazy sometimes. But there's something about an empty classroom that doesn't feel right, or the sound of muffled voices behind masks that doesn't seem to have the same effect. In this past year, we've done what was necessary, and some magic still happened, but this time has taken its toll. Perhaps you miss the noise. Because the noise often means that kids are loving learning. They feel comfortable enough to let down their guards and express their emotions. The noise can work as an affirmation that as a teacher, you are doing something right. There's something about your class that your students love, and they love it enough to make some noise. A quiet classroom is a good classroom? Maybe sometimes. Sometimes we need quiet. You need quiet. Your students need quiet. But I've also learned that there is nothing wrong with a little controlled chaos. Laughing out loud, heated discussions, student collaboration, building relationships, the sound of joy, frustration, energy, performance, wonder, curiosity, hands raised and calling to be called on noise. And so as we begin to emerge from this pandemic, which along with so many other challenges has carried with it a lot of silence, let's not forget the things that we miss most. And perhaps one of those for you is the sound of learning. The sound of an engaged classroom, of a class debate, or a spoken word poetry slam, or loud group work, or desks scraping across the floor, or the music you love to play before class, or that one kid who loves to make the rest of the class laugh, of Friday nights under the lights, or the sound of pencils scrawling across paper, or that feeling at the end of the day when it's finally quiet, that earned silence. Let's not forget the noise, and let's embrace it as it returns.
Okay. So for your activity, okay, you will create a personal plan to cope up with academic challenges as a student ngayon and as a future educator. You will identify at least 10 each. Okay? Hindi naman ninyo ipapasa yan. Okay? You may keep it, and kapag may na-experience kayong challenges bilang estudyante ngayon, pwede mong tingnan yon para may silbi naman. Okay? Ito yung template niya. Yan. As a student, and your response to this challenge. Itong personal plan as future educator. Possible challenges and your response. Okay? So, to end with, I'd like to share you Paulo Freire's quotation from his book. Ayan, sabi niya, the teacher is of course an artist, but being an artist does not mean that he or she can make the profile, can shape the students, What the educator does in teaching is to make it possible for the students to become themselves. Okay? So, thank you very much for your active participation in this discussion. Diyos mabalos, mag-ingat po kita gabos.